Club host. He was predicting that Donald Trump's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal could embolden traditional conservatives to take their party back. Let's take a look.
I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back.
Kari, my first question is, do you agree that it's been handled very badly?
You know, I'm going to be honest. I have been so engrossed in what I'm doing, which is working on the agency I'm overseeing. I've followed Epstein not as
You should be following a little bit more there, lady. You should be looking more into it.
much as some people. What I'm particularly pleased with that's happening with this administration. Let me finish, Cenk. Let me finish. The Epstein, you know, we were talking about young underage girls and boys being abused, right? President Trump is actually helping to find young people who are currently involved in sex abuse, sex trafficking, and he's saving them right now. The people who are currently involved, while they might not have been involved in the Epstein scandal, they are involved in this horrendous world, in the sex trade, the underage sex trade, and they are rescuing those kids. As a mother, I'm concerned about the kids who are actually
but Kari, that's a bit of... Okay, but Kari, that's a bit different. I mean, Cenk, let me bring you in. I think
we'll get to the bottom of Epstein, by the way. I think we'll get to the bottom of it, and I do think eventually everything will come out.
Okay, well, it should do. And Cenk, my issue with the way it's been handled is that the Trump administration took everybody to the water's edge very deliberately. I had some of the administration on this show saying it's all going to come out. We're going to reveal everything. There's going to be full accountability. And then two things happened. Elon Musk, when he fell out with Trump, suddenly posts on his X platform, the biggest bombshell is that Trump's in the Epstein files. And within 2 weeks, the administration announces the whole Epstein scandal is being shut down. That's what caused the furore of conspiracy theories running riot and everything else. It was just very badly handled. Now, I've not seen any evidence that Donald Trump did anything wrong with Jeffrey Epstein other than he was his friend, like a lot of rich, famous people that Epstein collected.
Yes, he didn't do anything wrong. Of course. Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for, hey, Trump's innocent. Type 2, they all know each other. Even if they didn't do anything, they know. I wonder how many 2s will show up in the chat. I mean, come on, folks. All these people, they had to have known about Epstein and his dark behaviors. Even if they didn't engage, people had to know. People had to know. People had to know. I mean, even Trump's response about Epstein, quote unquote, poaching some of his workers at Mar-a-Lago. It's like, dude, you could have worded that a hell of a lot better, but you raised more eyebrows. Like, the more you speak, like, the more people are like, gee, what do you mean by that?
There's going to be full accountability. And then two things happened. Elon Musk, when he fell out with Trump, suddenly posts on his X platform, the biggest bombshell is that Trump's in the Epstein files. And within 2 weeks, the administration announces the whole Epstein scandal is being shut down. That's what caused the furore of conspiracy theories running riot and everything else. It was just very badly handled. Now, I've not seen any evidence that Donald Trump did anything wrong with Jeffrey Epstein other than he was his friend, like a lot of rich, famous people that Epstein collected over the years, and then he disowned him. However, the way they've handled this has been very damaging. And Charlemagne the God raises an interesting point. It's the first time really we've seen where a lot of people on the MAGA side have felt so let down, they've been prepared to openly criticize the president. I think that's quite significant.
Well, look, as you know, I've been trying to unite Democrats and Republicans in terms of the voters. I mean, I just did a jubilee where I took on Democrats and Republicans defending politicians, right? And on this issue, a lot of MAGA and certainly independent voters have been really good. They're holding their own leader accountable. And I wish the Democrats had done that with Joe Biden and his age, et cetera. And so I give them a lot of credit for that. And this is a place where you can tell the difference between politicians and partisans and actual voters. Because the partisans will try to defend the indefensible, which is what Trump is doing now, right?
Yeah. So Cenk trying to do a jubilee, don't make us pull out the internet. We don't want to do that. I don't want to pull out the internet on you, Cenk.
So when Trump was talking about releasing the Epstein files, I was in favor of that. So now he turns around and goes, not only am I not releasing them, there were no clients at all. We're not going to prosecute a single person. Then on top of that, he layers in Ghislaine Maxwell, the only other person who was prosecuted, is now going to a minimum security prison. Why? You normally need an exceptional exemption to be able to transfer a child rapist to a minimum security prison. But they just did it willy-nilly. I mean, if he lets her go, this country's going to explode. So, and it's not, look, I wish the left was more powerful, and I think that people should go populist left, right? But when you have the left and the right, then it becomes super powerful. And so if he thinks he's going to just cover this up and he's going to have people like Kari come on here and make excuses, it's never going to work. It's not even working with his own voters, which I give them a ton of credit for. We need to actually, so don't tell me that the girls were raped, but nobody raped them. That's a preposterous thing to say. And look, is Trump in the files? Look, his name is all over. Hold on, this is really important. His name is all over, but I get it, because he was really, really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. They were nearly best friends for about 15 years, and both of them.
Kari Lake, why are you shaking your head? They've been friends, just like with Bill Clinton. Trump and Bill Clinton were friends. Bill Clinton was friends with Epstein. Trump and Epstein were friends. All three were friends. It's a triple triangle.
Said that, but that doesn't mean that he did the crimes. So and if he's innocent, a great way to show that is to fully release all the files, including the tapes, by the way, because we know there's tapes. And my guess is that that's not going to happen, not because of Trump, but because under both Biden, Trump, Democrat, and Republicans, they covered this up. Why? Very likely because it's an intelligence agency, and they're both getting orders under no circumstances are you to release this. Because think about it. If an intelligence agency did it, how mad would the American people be if they authorized the rape of American children to get blackmail to use and manipulate our politicians? That would be a fury like you've never seen before. That's why neither side is ever going to release it.
I do think this will come out, though, Cenk.
It will be coming out, but why don't we get the information now? Why can't we have the information now about what's happening? Can we get the information now? That's what I want. I want to know. We want to know. Can we get that? That's what I want. I want to know who's on the damn list. I want to know who's there. I want to know who's on it. I want to know who partook in this horrific abuse of kids. And the fact that the Trump administration has the audacity to tell us, oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to be afraid of. No. No, I'm sorry. You can't hide behind this.
I think we're running out of time. Whatever there is there.
Well, it hasn't so far. A final word, Geraldo, you covered a lot of stories over the years. This Epstein scandal isn't going away, and I think the way the Trump administration's handled it has been very self-harming. What's your take?
I believe that Trump has blundered in it, and I also think that you're absolutely right in terms of the friendship between Epstein and the president over the years, and it is embarrassing. There's lots of pictures, lots of videos. Even on tape, you hear Trump extolling the virtue of Epstein's pursuit of very young girls. So I think all of that is very embarrassing. But to me, the real story with Epstein is, how did he become so rich? What did he do to become a billionaire and get this influence over all of these people? You can't, as rich as the markets may be, or bright as he was, wasn't he a teacher at Dalton School in New York? And then all of a sudden he's a multi-trillionaire. I want to follow the money. I just follow the money, and I believe that that's where you'll see real embarrassment, and heads will fall when we find out exactly how he got so rich.
I know how he got rich. It's all a created system, but don't worry. There's always another Epstein out there waiting in the wings, waiting in the dark. So I do find it fascinating that Kari Lake is just, oh my goodness. You like how she's defending it. Then you got everyone else here in this conversation. Oh, well, here's what's happening. Well, here's what's happening, man. I know that at one point, all these people on this panel at some point or another were either dismissive, didn't acknowledge the Epstein files, or chose not to talk about it until finally enough of the public opinion was too large to ignore. Never forget those that have been speaking about it from the beginning. And never forget those that were speaking about it from the beginning who now told you to drop about it, or they didn't want to talk about it, or especially politicians who ran on a policy to release the files. Isn't it interesting how they're all talking? Release the names. And I understand that some of the imagery might be difficult to look at. But I want to know who's causing the pain and suffering so that they're held accountable, that they're arrested, they go to jail, and they never see the light of day ever for never, ever again. How's that sound? I'm willing to live with that. I don't want to hear about, oh, well, it's been so long, or oh, there's been this or that. Release the goddamn names. Release the names.